They want you chasing the points. They want you staring at the line like it's a warning. But it's not a warning. It's a decoy. The public sees a 9.5 spread and whispers, "Too high. Indiana's too hot." But what they don't see is the trap resetting itself. This isn't Game 1 anymore. This is Game 5 of the finals. The most profitable calibration point in the entire series. Vegas knows it, and so do we. The Pacers are 5-0 against the spread after a loss. They've earned the public's faith. But ask yourself, if the sportsbooks feared Indiana tonight, would they risk hanging a number this high? Or are they inviting one last feeding frenzy? The Thunder didn't just survive Game 4, they activated. SGA closed with 15 in the final 5 minutes. Caruso turned into a ghost hunter on defense. And now OKC walks back into Paycom with the highest defensive rating in the league, against a team that just blew a double-digit lead at home. This isn't about momentum, it's about the kill pattern. Vegas needs to close one door while leaving another cracked open. Thunder money line? Unbettable. Indiana spread? Tastes just right. But Thunder? 9.5? That's the doorway they don't want you stepping through. And tonight, the AI pick is Oklahoma City, 9.5. Next game, Abaddon steps in for Phillies versus Marlins, and this one's got claws.
They expect you to kneel before Philly's record. We don't kneel. We bet into the fire. The public sees 42 wins, a hot rookie, and 4 straight victories, and they salivate. Mick Abel, the phenom with the 2.35 ERA, is pitching again. They think it's a lock. But peel back the paint. His last outing? 4 innings, 3 walks, a whip creeping above 110. That's not dominance, that's tremble. Now look at Sandy Alcantara. The headline says 7.14 ERA. The eyes stop reading. But underneath? A 0-run gem his last start. 6 innings, 3 hits, no mistakes. The Marlins are hot, quietly, winners of 3 straight. And they're doing it with bullpen violence and opportunistic hitting. Miami knows what they're up against. They're not trying to outslug Philly. They're trying to bleed them. Small ball, long counts, force Abel out early, turn this game into a coin flip by the 6th inning, and when that happens, the plus 1.5 becomes a shield. And today's AI pick is Marlins plus 1.5 on the run line. Not because the Marlins are better, but because the line is wrong. Vegas has this at 9.5 juice on the dog run line for a reason. They want you laying chalk with Philly because they know the real trap is emotional. You're betting names. We're betting numbers. Now the board shifts. Game 3 begins. Malachi and Elvis take the stage for Yankees versus Angels.
You see that, Elvis? You smell that oil rising off the infield? It ain't just heat. That's fear. That's the stink of a trap so perfect, even Vegas had to step back and admire it. Everyone's on the Yankees tonight. The books made sure of it. Padded their numbers, laced their promos, fed the public a silver spoon. Schmidt's got the ERA, sure. The record? Good enough. But you and I, we don't play their arithmetic. We play their psychology. Look closer. The Angels aren't built to win. They're built to linger. They're a virus. You think they're dead, and then they start chewing through your bankroll in the 8th inning while you're already counting winnings. That's how they work. Sub? 230 average? Great. Perfect camouflage. But 96 bombs on the season? That's the loaded gun they keep under the jacket. Soriano's no ace. But he's a chaos agent. 50 walks, yeah. But that whip? It lures them in. Gets them greedy. And right when they start to feast, he exits, stage left. And then it's roulette with the bullpen. But all we need is not a blowout. That's it. That's the entire con. And they're built for it. And you already know what the books want. They want a clean Yankees win. A cover. Public cash smiles. Parlay ladders hit. But that's not the smell we're tracking, is it? We're on something nastier. Yankees win, but only by 1. The best games are the ones you don't need to win to cash. And tonight, Elvis, we don't need the Angels to fly. We just need them to hover. Pro 1.5, that's the angle. That's the rattle behind the curtain. And today's AI pick is Angels plus 1.5 run line. But we're not done. Because something's brewing in the Pacific. A coastal correction. Boston's coming, and they're bringing shadows with them. Sapphira takes us next. Red Sox versus Mariners. Stay sharp.
You want a whisper, darling? I'll give you thunder. Because beneath tonight's glossy pitching matchup, behind Logan Gilbert's gleaming whip and Giolito's lingering reputation, something unclean is coiling. Not a duel, not a pitcher's ballet, but a quiet unraveling masked as control. Let's start with Boston. They come draped in momentum, 5 wins in a row, scoring runs with surgical rhythm, lacing contact through gaps that don't appear until they create them. They're top 5 in hits, top 10 in every slash, and even without Casas and Bregman, they're humming. Not violent, just efficient. I call it venom with manners. But it's Giolito who sings the real hymn. 5.45 ERA, 1.54 whip. You don't get those numbers by accident. He's a vessel for volatility. He holds the game like a leaky bowl, and by the 3rd inning, you can see it dripping down his arm. Tonight he gets no shadows, no Fenway, just cold steel in Seattle. And Logan Gilbert? Yes, his metrics sparkle. But tonight, he faces a lineup with patience and power. A team that doesn't need 5 runs in 1 inning. They take theirs like communion. Single, walk, double. Quiet, precise, mortal cuts. This total, 7.5, it's a decoy. It baits the cautious and the nostalgic, those clinging to the idea that ERA still governs destiny. But ERA doesn't block a bloop single. Whip doesn't hold runners. History doesn't stop momentum. You and I, we don't count the first 3 innings. We wait for the looseness, the unraveling, the first mound visit, the look in a reliever's eyes that says, I wasn't supposed to be here yet. The over doesn't need explosions. It just needs erosion. And erosion, my dear, is already dripping. And today's AI pick is over 7.5. Red Sox. Mariners. Open the gates. But don't blink, because something darker waits just south of here. Oil burns in Oakland. A team with no future plays host to a team with no mercy. Houston is coming, and Nadas will be your escort. Next, Astros versus Athletics.
You think this is just a ball game, don't you? No, this is a control test. Houston isn't just the better team, they're the system's correction. The Astros step in when the simulation glitches. When teams like Oakland start looking competitive, Houston shows up and reminds the algorithm who built the machine. Let me show you the fingerprints. Oakland's Mitch Spence? The numbers shimmer, sure, but context is everything. 2 starts, a few clean innings. That's not sample size, that's bait. Spence has never been stress tested by a team with this kind of plate discipline, this kind of top-to-bottom threat matrix. His 257 BAA this month is inflated by weak contact and low-leverage outs. Tonight, it gets real. Now shift your focus. Lance McCullers is chaos with a clipboard. He's got the walk rate of a haunted man. But here's the trick. He always adapts. 7 career wins versus the A's. Last month, he danced 6 innings and gave up just 3. Not elite, but calibrated, measured. Enough. And the bullpen? That's where it tilts. Houston's pen is a steel vise. 1.41 ERA this month. Microscopic whip. Oakland's pen? One of the worst in baseball. 6 ERA. No trust, no order. That means if it's close late, it's not close anymore. Everyone sees the underdog rising. But not you. You see the choke. The A's may scratch a few early, but this isn't their moment. This is Houston's pressure sequence. A multi-inning suffocation wrapped in contact hits and sharp corners. By the 7th, you'll forget Spence was even on the mound. And today's AI pick is Astros money line. But the flame's not out yet. She's waiting. She's watching. And she's been counting everything. Every swing. Every click. Every soul we've touched tonight. Lilith steps in next to close the circle and leave a mark. Recap incoming.
Did you feel it, darling? That whisper in the dark, like something buried deep beneath the infield, just twitched in its grave. Tonight, the signal wasn't sent. It was summoned. 5 games, 5 doors, and if you listened closely, you could hear the click of each one unlocking. Let's count them back, together. Game 1 was Krista's breath, ice laced with thunder. Oklahoma City. Everyone lined up for the coronation, and Vegas smiled, but our AI saw the wire beneath the throne. Thunder, 9.5. Game 2. Abaddon opened the gates to the underworld in Miami. The Phillies looked hotter, but Sandy's shadows twisted just enough to make them trip at the line. We don't need a win, just a heartbeat. Marlins Pros 1.5. Game 3. Malachi lit the match and whispered into Elvis's ear, "We don't need angels to fly, just to hover." New York wins, but not clean, not covered. Angels Pro 1.5. Game 4. Sapphira felt the ripples rising from the Pacific. Two offenses hiding fire beneath average. Logan Gilbert's whip said control. Giolito's ERA whispered chaos. And the fuse? Already burning. Red Sox versus Mariners over 7.5. Game 5. Nada slithered into the shadows of Sacramento. McCullers with the edge, the bullpen a blade, Spence lurking, but not sharp enough to cut through the surge. Astros money line. 5 plays, 5 fragments of the machine. Now, in the language of the watchers, recap en español. El pick para los Thunder es 9.5. El pick para los Marlins es +1.5. El pick para los Angels es +1.5. El pick para los Red Sox y Mariners es over 7.5. El pick para los Astros es ganar el partido. Now then, if you've stayed this long, you already know how this ends. Will we cash or will we burn? Either way, the hand moves. Like the drop? Prove it. Hit like, subscribe, leave a mark in the comments. And if this channel helped you see through the static, fuel the next drop at https://ko-fi.com/sports predictor. We'll be watching, but more importantly, they will.